everybody's listening to my song. Hot joint, just that no nigga with the bass and the bang, make it do. Yo, hit you with the 5 elements like 5 elephants. Let them know I'm relevant. I'm heaven sent, telling them we're from a whole nother galaxy. I'm actually born from the static sea. Ass to be crazy, I'm trying to be amazing. Next big thing kinda has a nice ring. Bada boom, bada bing. You love it when I go off when you're so lost and it's so awesome. I get it cause I am from where the stars from. I'm Martian, the boogie down's the motherland. Cool arcs the overlord and we are just a cover band.
All right, everybody, we are live here on HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. I am your host, John Brecco, and we have two very special guests for you guys today. They are having a little bit of trouble getting through on the live stream. One of them is comedian and photographer Joe Orecchio. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I know he's having trouble getting through here. And we've also got the chief of staff of Stand Up NY, John Boring. John B. You said to call you John B. Excuse me.
It's all right, buddy. It's all right, John. You got it.
Yeah. All right. But anyways, the main thing I wanted to talk to you about is the show you guys put on outside of Stand Up NY a few weeks back. But the first thing that I really want to ask you is just how you doing, through everything with all this shit going on. Just how are you in general?
I'm good, man. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm hanging out with my boys right now in Jersey. We're having a good time. We're drinking. But first couple months were tough, man. I mean, as tough as it was for everybody. In general, this whole pandemic that's hit us it's unprecedented. And obviously we both work in comedy, so we felt the effects of it. And it's been crazy, but not only in comedy, but I mean, think about the nurses and the doctors that the shit's been going. Oh, can I swear on here? I'm sorry about that.
You can swear as much as you fucking want.
All right. But yeah, it's been crazy. And it was, like a lot of people, we got that bug kind of, like halfway through and we're like, let's fucking do something. And we decided to do something. How are you, man? I mean, you're in Jersey as well?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey. I'm 10 minutes outside of Trenton. I'm managing through it, trying to adjust things, I guess, trying to adjust with the way everything's been. I'm trying to make shit happen here at my house, trying to, I guess, make shit happen like through Zoom the way everybody's been doing it. Just really just trying to adjust, I guess. That's really word to describe it. I guess it's kind of the same thing for you.
I mean, listen, I am not a comedian. You guys are the comedians. It's really about the community. I mean, how you guys are feeling. I mean, listen, we're brick and mortar. I'll fucking open up tomorrow and do, 3D holographics of comics, but you guys are the true lifeblood of this shit. So it's a matter of you guys being sane and willing to do things. And, listen, you guys are a little bit crazy on yourselves as comics, and I can only imagine what this kind of did to you. But we've been in the fold of stuff. We just did a live show this afternoon in Central Park, which was fucking awesome. Ryan Reese was there. We had Maddie Smith from MTV. We had also Welly Jackson from Orange is the New Black. Ryan Reese was there from Comedy Central, as well as Michael Rowland, who's like a big Comedy Central guy now. So yeah, man, I mean, like, that was Michael Rowland's first time back on stage, and he was fucking nervous, man. He was nervous.
Yeah. It's weird, kind of just to get back, like, in the swing of things, like going in front of a live audience. I remember doing the first shows when the pandemic was really kind of like in its like first stages. We were just starting to like get on doing online shows, and I remember how weird that was. I can only imagine how it's going to feel now going back to the live shows, because I haven't done a live show yet. People have mentioned, doing mics in their backyard. People have mentioned doing drive-in comedy, but I haven't got to experience that yet. So I can only imagine what the transition back is going to be like now.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, I mean, like, what I've seen in the past and what I've seen, I mean, I've been doing a lot of these outdoor shows in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, actually. And I'll be honest, it's like riding a bike. I think a lot of comics are in a good headspace that they're kind of sick of it, but we're still being safe. You know what I mean? We're still wearing masks. We're using hand sanitizer. We're keeping 6 feet and shit like that. But what really matters is that, like, I think it's like you're going to fall a couple times. You're going to forget a bit here and there. Aaron Berg, who I'm sure you know, who has 25 sets out on Amazon, I was talking to him the other day, and he forgot a bit. You know what I mean? If you listen to Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Dan Soder, they're talking about like being on stage with Mike Che out in Long Island City, and they're forgetting bits. You know what I mean? It's happening out there. But trust me, give it a couple more times on the bike, you guys will be fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I haven't had anything where, like I've like forgotten like in the middle of a bit, but I've had stuff happen where like it's come to me like slower. Like the timing of my jokes are slower. It's not necessarily bad. It's just, it's taking me a little bit to, I guess, process it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. But
I get it.
I guess the first thing that I really want to ask you, just, based on the back and forth we had right now, how did you get involved with comedy in the first place? I actually didn't know if you were a comic or you've been doing it at all. You kind of just answered that for me, but how did you get involved with this in general?
I'm not a comedian, my friend, but I have a great infatuation with comedians. I'm not gonna lie, I made my money somewhere else because I can't make money in comedy. I ended up I was originally in hotels and restaurants and hospitality. Then I moved over into political arena as well as oil and gas. And then I came back to New York, and I had the opportunity to start working for Stand Up New York as just an events guy. I was doing that like kind of like part-time just because I loved comedy. I remember first the thing that kind of drew me in there is I was flying back from I think it was in Cancun for an event, and I was flying back to New York to meet with Donnie Zolden, who's the owner of Stand Up New York, and I happened to be watching Christian Finnegan's set on Netflix, and boom, that night, Donnie was like, it was a Friday, Donnie goes home on Friday night for Shabbos, and he's like, come watch the show tonight, and who was on the bill but Christian Finnegan, and I just had this love for it, and it was fantastic to see, and I'm pretty good with like being a fish in water and kind of picking up things fairly quick. And I'll be honest, within 3 years, I was named chief of staff for the club, and then about a year ago, I also was acclimated to getting the booker status of Stand Up New York. So
Nice.
my experience with comedy is maybe like a lot of your listeners, a lot of people that are doing the open mics. I'm fairly new to this. However, I've worked in entertainment for a while, but I will say that I have to say that, I'm an unlikely gatekeeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it really comes down to. I've seen the funniest people at a $5 open mic, and then I have to take a step back and say, well, that's not really going to bring people into our showroom. And it's weird, like I have a greater affinity for some underrated comics in New York City rather than some of those that are maybe on Saturday Night Live or on HBO right now.
Because you see so many, it's not just, you're seeing what's on TV. You're seeing all these different comics come up every night, just when you're going to work. And, through seeing that, you see so many people that aren't exposed, not to say that they could be, but like there's just so many different funny people that may never get exposed, and it's just crazy to see how many talented comics there are out there.
It's amazing to see that, and the unfortunate thing is like I will say one of my favorite comics right now, who also is a good friend of mine, and I hate to toot his horn, but a gentleman by the name of Jeff Sheen. Jeff Sheen is one of my favorite comics in New York City today. He's originally from Michigan. He's hilarious. Me and him were part of a group of people that hang out called the Belgian Boys. And does this guy have any credits? No. But are you going to see him on a Saturday night on a Stand Up New York stage? Absolutely you are. There's just something about it. But I struggled with that, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners struggle with it too, of the facet that people that are like kind of, I guess, tenured in our industry, they feel that they should be getting things, and I don't agree with that. I think that talent is talent. I don't care if you were on fucking Letterman 20 years ago, but if your shit is still sour and you're still talking about, the Clinton administration, well, I don't want to hear it. I'd rather put somebody young and fresh up there. One of our homegrown talents is a guy by the name of Jay Jordan, who a lot of people kind of know, but he just had his premiere on the Tonight Show with with Jimmy Fallon. He was on a couple of episodes on HBO. Like, this kid is a fucking beast. And guess what? Nobody knew about him for 2 years. And it's great to fucking kind of pluck these people out of obscurity, because he was running checks on a Tuesday night. Now he's out and he was headlining shows with me at our club, and he's also closing out on a Saturday night.
Crazy thing is, the first time I went to Stand Up NY, it was for when Comedy Mob did that town hall. You know, I got to listen to a bunch of guys speak there, and you know, I started doing their mic. I actually won a spot on like some raffle they did. And I did a spot at Stand Up NY that went really well. Kind of helped me put my 5-minute set together. You know, kind of helped me get everything down finally. And I ended up hearing about him, I think, like a few months later, because he was like associated with them. So it kind of just goes back to like everybody that you meet, like when you're doing like all these different like shows and mics and stuff. It's crazy.
It's all about the community. You know, I mean, it's a cutthroat business, but if you can find communities like Comedy Mob is somebody that I trust through and through. People like John Marco Cerezi, you know, Jay Jordan, Olga Namer. These are all names that I first saw. Remy Casimir are all people that I first saw on the Comedy Mob stage. So, I mean, honestly, I really appreciate and support, you know, comedy communities. There are some of those that you're paying, and I'm not going to name any names, but you're paying $7 for the mic, plus you got a 1-drink minimum, and those things are pretty much bullshit to me. But if you can find a core, and it's not even necessarily like that, maybe it's just a group of people that you're hanging out with over at the Pear, or you meet some people over at the Lantern or something like that. I mean, that's the shit you want to get into. I even know the open mic crowd over at Vinny's, at Vinny Brands, is pretty decent as well. Like, it's a good camaraderie, and you need that. You need to kind of stick together, because the unfortunate thing is, united you stand, but divided you fucking succeed.
Yeah. No, 100%, definitely. You need that sense of community just to kind of keep you there, because, like you said, it's cutthroat. It can be almost depressing at times, but like that sense of community kind of helps you get through it too.
Absolutely does. Absolutely. And I appreciate those things. There's not many clubs that really kind of highlight that. And I'll be honest with you, one of the big changes was I wanted to shift Stand Up New York from trying to be like, we were a solid number 4 when it came to like the top clubs in New York City. But when it comes down to new talent, top clubs, we're probably number 1 right now. Do you know what I mean? We still get the big names. Jerry still runs through. Amy runs through. Chris still runs through. Pete still runs through. Everybody rolls through. But you know what I mean? Like, on any Saturday show, you're also going to see 3 or 4 of the comics that have no fucking credits at all. And they didn't bark those people in there. They're just solid, good talents there. I take a page out of what they do, you know, over at Creek in the Cave. I really appreciate the stuff that Rebecca's doing over there and kind of highlighting comedy. Good, bad, indifferent. I love that. There are some other clubs that are doing that as well. The Lantern is doing well with that, you know. And of course, you know, I still have my standards where, you know, I hang my hat, not hang my hat, but rather I'm a little bit more almost reverent to, which is like your comedy clubs like The Cellar. You know what I mean? I get along very well with Gnome and Esty over there, unlike some other comedy clubs. But because I really do feel that there's a community, because the people that I'm putting on my stage are eventually going to be going out and doing The Cellar and The Stand and those types of places and killing it.
Definitely. One place I definitely want to perform at, this is just me, is Caroline's. I was supposed to perform there back in April, but then the whole coronavirus hit. And, you know, now it's just pretty much a waiting game to see when they're going to reopen. But that's what I'm definitely looking to do. That's just me personally.
It's a good spot, man. Like, Caroline's one of those spots. I mean, you pop out the 1 train on 50th and you see those golden lights next to the Junior Cheesecake, and you're like, fuck, I want to perform there. And then you walk down those stairs and you see the code attendant and shit like that. And there's this feeling, there's this smell that kind of hits you. It's this smell of like fried food and like, I don't know, lavender. I don't know what the fuck it is, but you get there. Oh yeah, this is where I want to be. This is, and Caroline's got a great stage over there. I mean, it's legendary. I mean, from anybody who's anybody will perform there on a weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Isn't it like right next to where Beetlejuice was too, or close to it?
Yeah, it was right by the Winter Garden Theater. Correct.
Yeah, the Winter Garden Theater. I forgot the name of it. I remember that. I remember I saw Beetlejuice over there after I did a show in Connecticut one time, and then I went to some Broadway place to eat. I forget what the place is called, but I just remember I went there at like 11 o'clock at night, and I remember like passing by, and like I know exactly what you're talking about, like the lights over there and everything too. It looks like a place where you want to perform at.
You pass by and you see all those fucking like coming up next month or this stuff or like people that used to be there and just get this feeling, you know, like even when I see some of my people like Jack Comstock is one of my buddies who performs on a regular, John Marcus Razy. When I walk by there and I see their faces on there, you know, you're literally on fucking Times Square. You are on the biggest stage of them all and people are walking by and seeing your face. Like, that's a cool fucking feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially, you know, when you like see people come up, you're just like, I know that motherfucker.
Sure.
Like,
Why the fuck am I not there?
Yeah. Like, why didn't I go there in the first place? It's crazy because I've never even actually been, like, inside there. But, like, I've heard things about it. You know, I've passed it, you know, a couple of times, you know, going to Broadway Comedy Club or, you know, going, you know, up Upper West Side or whatever. You know, it's not a place I've actually been inside, but I guess there's kind of, like, an allure when people talk about it and you see it, I guess.
I'm honest with you, John. It's not one of those spots that you want to hang out in. Like, it's not. It's a tough room to hang out in unless you know somebody. So if you go to the local stuff, like you go to like the March Madness thing that they do over there, go check those out. You know, it's a good hang. But like Broadway's a good hang. You know, New York Comedy Club's a good hang. New York's a good hang. The cellar can be tough, you know what I mean? There's a lot of differing opinions of what you want to be if you want to hang out there, if you're not a past comic there. But I would suggest that. I mean, are you a Brooklyn guy? I love the Brooklyn scene right now. Well, not right now.
I've done one Brooklyn show, but I loved it when I did it. It was a super fun show to do. I want to do more of them.
There's a couple of great producers. One great producer that I loved is Emily Winter. She does One-Liner Madness over at the Bell House. Bell House is a sick spot. You know, Club Coming. You know, I'm sure you have a very diverse amount of, you know, comics that listen to this. I mean, if you are anything of the diverse spectrum, Brooklyn is the place to go. If you are different, if you're doing characters, Brooklyn is the place to go. And trust me, we're watching, whether it be myself or somebody as big as Jessica Pilot from the Colbert Show, she's there as well.
The place I did it at was the Williamsburg Music Center. I did it with a guy named Dwayne Burris, but it was a super fun place to do. The crowd was just really into it when you were there. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch, you know, how receptive they were, how much they were paying attention to the show. You know, no matter, you know, how you were doing that night, they just paid attention and they were just into it. It was great.
Brooklyn is comedy deprived. I mean, like, you can throw pretty much anything against the wall and get a good reaction out of it. I would suggest, you know, like, you can't be stuck in your ways, but like the bar shows that people put on in Brooklyn are fantastic. You know, Bushwick, obviously. There's a lot of great places that you can definitely check out. You know, and I know you're kind of a trek from Trenton, obviously, but yeah, just fucking, you know, crashing, you know, couch surfing for like a weekend, or screw it, you know, fucking hotel rooms are dirt cheap right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Just get a pillow and blanket, put it in my car, right?
Yeah, there you
for a
go,
fucking weekend and shit. I wouldn't mind doing that just like once, you know, just going like on the road somewhere, or even like somewhere in Connecticut, maybe like 3-4 hours away. That way, you know, it doesn't even really make sense to go home. I just get something to eat like late at night, just pass out.
We got some cool shit up in Connecticut too. You know, Emilio from New York Comedy Club runs some great rooms up there. There's a couple other guys, the Mangina Dialogues. They run a couple of shows up in that area. Really cool stuff. You know, there is a budding scene within Connecticut. Obviously, New York, New Jersey is going to pop soon too. I mean, we're the first that are going to be open. You know, July 2nd, I think casinos open up, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, the Cove is pretty good too. You know. I mean, I have definitely an affinity for, you know, for Vinny Brand's place. I mean, I was a Seton Hall student, so going down and watching comedy, and you know, and down to Rutgers, and going to a grease truck and getting a fat bitch. That was, that's where it was at, bro.
So you're pretty familiar with like the New Jersey area and going to Rutgers and all like places over there, Livingston, and the fat sandwiches and shit. John, you all right?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry about that.
You hear what I said?
No, what'd you say?
No, I was saying, like, so you're pretty familiar, you know, with New Jersey and the area, especially with, like, Rutgers, Livingston, fat
Yeah,
sandwiches, all that shit. You're pretty familiar with New Jersey?
I'm a Jersey kid through and through. I live up in the sticks of the Northwest in Sussex County. So I'm very familiar. I'm born and raised here, man. So I love Jersey. You know, we're not just a fucking a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah, no, I had no idea you even lived in New Jersey, to be honest with you. Oh, shit, that's cool as fuck. But there is, one specific thing that I did want to talk with you about, and it was the one show that I heard about you doing. I heard about you doing it from Joe Recchio. He put a video together, talking about, how this pandemic and all the social justice issues have been hard on everybody, and you kind of just got everybody together because everybody just needed kind of a laugh and just
I appreciate it.
a good show. So I saw the video and everything. The show looked like it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it got shut down as far as I could tell. But what was the environment like from the show, from the beginning to the end? Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Let me preface this by saying that as much as I appreciate the praise and everything, this was just Donnie and myself bored off our fucking gourd and wanting to do something. This had nothing to do with social justice. My intent was not to be some kind of crusader and open up, streets for comedy. My idea of this was really to be about, just be honest with you, John. I was fucking bored on my couch, and I was like, "Hey, let's do an outdoor show," and it spun from there because, as you can tell, I mean, that was on the 31st. There was obviously the COVID things that we were kind of going against, no public gatherings above 10, but then the stuff happened with the police and in Minneapolis, and that terrible tragedy as well as assassination of that gentleman. And I'll be honest with you. We had to address it. Was the whole point because we needed to address it? No. The point originally was just because we wanted some fun. I wanted to rent the fucking truck and fucking put outside the club and, have some fun with my friends. That's what it really came down to. But we knew we had to address it. And we put together a show that essentially was good for the community. It was good to laugh a little bit because it was a heated environment. But again, this was not a response to anything that happened. This was just happenstance, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
I appreciate Joe putting me in that light, but I am no fucking mad scientist or savior. I mean, I am, quote unquote, people have called me a mad scientist, but this is me being bored on my couch and being sick of my parents and tired of eating Chinese food all day. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. That makes all the sense in the world, bro. When you've been stuck in your house for 2 to 3 months, I mean, how are you supposed to feel, really? And honestly, I applaud you for just putting it together for that reason, There's a lot of people who are probably trying to think of ways to do it that aren't even doing it, Like I mentioned, about doing all the drive-in and backyard mics, I've had people telling me about it, but, I'm still waiting on it. You know what I mean? So regardless of the reason, I applaud you for even doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We're business owners. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, people are always going to say that, it's really nice, but, 365 days from now, people are going to be saying, oh, Stand Up New York is just counting their money and their gold coins behind the curtain. You know what I mean? That's what people will say. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to be completely honest that I don't think a lot of other places have said, is that we make money. I'm not going to lie. I didn't make my bones in comedy. I didn't make money in comedy. I have my own money. This is dare I say, it is a hobby at sometimes for me. But I understand and I have an affinity and I have a love for you guys that do this on a day-to-day basis. The ones that want to be up on stage, that want to speak your mind. I cannot do that. I can barely host a show. You know what I mean? My job is really, I literally do a light crowd work and I bring somebody on stage, and I hate hosting. I only do what I need to, but I have a love for you guys, and so does ownership. So, we really want to do this so you guys could kind of explore, and I say you guys, but by comedians, is that it just gives you another platform. And Zoom is great. The Zoom shit, awesome. The Facebook Live stuff, great. Instagram Live, great. but there's nothing like being on that stage. There's nothing like, dude, you should have seen the look, the joy and the horror of Ari Findling when he climbed up onto that truck bed and he had to do comedy in front of people for the first time in 3 months. But you know what? James Mattern told me this story, and Giannis Pappas, and I'm sorry to keep on quoting all these comedians, but I just feel I just want to quote these comedians because I think it's better that I tell you who it came from than just me, you know, a nobody. Giannis Pappas told James Mattern, comedy clubs are like working out. You know, some days it's like fucking working at an Equinox. You know what I mean? You get great crowds. You get fucking minted towels at the end. Somebody blows you in the back. It's fucking amazing. But there are other days that when you're working out and you're just fucking moving bricks from one end to the other. And you know what? If I can give somebody the opportunity to, you know, move bricks from one end to the other, but give them a bottled water for working out, then I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's what keeps it alive. That's what keeps it breathing. Like I said, you're going to be rusty at first, but as long as I can give you the opportunity and the tools, tenfold, it comes back to me because then you guys get better and better and better. And I'm selling out rooms more and more and more. And that's more money for you and it's more money for me.
Yeah. You get better from doing it too. You know, a lot of it's just repetition and just getting the jokes down. You know, I see so many people that have all these good ideas when it comes to jokes, but, you know, it just comes down to, like, the repetition and, you know, how you're going to format this part to, you know, work with the rest of it. You know, it just comes down to doing it over and over.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, like, who was it today? Michael Rowland said to me, he's like, dude, it's my first time on stage. He's like, you're going to be fine. He's like, I'm going to bomb. And I'm like, dude, I don't pay you to make people laugh. I pay you for the attempt. Do you know what I mean? And as long as you guys are willing and trying and wanting to do these open mics, trust me, you may have heard the great, you know, the praises that we were saying for this outdoor show, but I also got a lot of heat a couple weeks later for doing an indoor mic. The New York Times wrote about it and gave us, you know, was very happy about it, but the comedy community was very split, saying that we fucked up. And it sucks, but you know what? I just need to keep on giving you guys opportunities because this is me investing in my future, you know, for the next 6 to 9 months. Do you know what I mean? And I need to break this down like a business to you guys because I know this is what you love. And a lot of your listeners are probably like, fuck this guy. But it's the truth about it. Are you going to be more happy? Listen, I'd rather you not pay I'd rather that you guys, you know, pay your $5 now and do shitty rooms because in 6 years you can just walk into Caroline's and fucking walk right up on stage and do a set. Do you know what I mean? Because you're that famous.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're providing a stepping stone for that even now. So, you know, you know what? It's, you know, really hard. You can look at it honestly through any which angle you want, but this is how I try to see it. You know, whether you're trying to give somebody an opportunity, you know, through Zoom, Instagram Live, you know, whether you're trying to do a backyard mic, indoor mic, you know, where you sanitize shit, whatever. You know, where you're trying to find a way to keep stuff going and trying to make sure everybody, you know, gets their chance to do it. And I think that's really important, especially at a time where people, you know, aren't going outside, you know, where people are having trouble just getting around everywhere. And I think it's really important to, you know, just give people that chance, especially right now.
And I'll be honest, and just to backpack off that, comics need to, and everybody needs to adapt. Businesses adapt. Acts adapt. You know what I mean? George Carlin was not doing the same shit in 1960 that he was doing in 1990. So get with the times. I will be honest with you. I do not want to hear any fucking, I barely want to hear any fucking quarantine jokes when we all open up again. Do you know what I mean? I barely want to hear that. I am interested to hear what POC comedians are talking about right now. You know, in recent light. And that's what people are looking at. I mean, people like, you know, no offense, John, but, white people like you. You know what I mean? How are you going to find the truth if not through some humor? So it'll be interesting to see what they say. But adapting and, people, dude, there were so many people that were like, fuck this, fuck these online shows. I hate this YouTube shit. Fuck TikTok. Well, guess what? That's how you're going to be making your money when you get out. That's how you're going to be reaching fans right now. Because nobody fucking has cable anymore.
Exactly. The fuck else you gonna do, really?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to hate on it and say fuck it when that's all you can do.
I hear you.
You got to make do with what you got.
100%, John. Listen, I got to run, but is there any final questions you got for me, my friend?
Honestly, nothing that I'm thinking of off the top of my head right now, but I do want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you being here, taking the time out to talk about this, because I did want to, pick your brain about some of this stuff. But, once again, thank you for coming on. I haven't performed at Stand Up NY in a while, so hopefully, I'm doing a show where you're around sometime. So, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
If I could just say something to all your listeners, we'll get through this. Fuck, we really will. I would say though, the biggest thing that that I think people are talking about, and there's a great podcast. It's called The Commissioner of Comedy. It's done by James Matter. He's out in Vegas right now, but he's talking about it, and it's how to adapt and how do you get back into the swing of things. But keep on going out there, and thank you guys for just doing comedy. I mean, you're keeping places open and you're making people laugh. So, John, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you and your fans.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Take care, man. All right, everybody. That was John B., the Chief of Staff of Stand Up NY. I really enjoyed that conversation, honestly. It went in a direction that I didn't expect it to. So, I'm honestly glad I got to pick his brain. You never really stop learning when you do all these different shows and you have all these different guests on, even when you have a group of 5-6 people and, you're just bullshitting around, you get to find out, what makes people laugh, what makes, I guess, people's funny bone tick. That's kind of a weird way to say it, but, you always learn in some kind of capacity through doing shows like this where you bring guests on, and I can appreciate it. But, just to end off, I do want to talk about... You didn't cut me off, did you, Ruben? E-type? Nope. All right, we're good. Yeah, just to end off, we've got an open mic coming up this week. I told you guys I was going to share the link again on social media. It'll be on Zoom. It'll be this Thursday, as it is every Thursday at 9 p.m. So make sure you guys let me know that you want to do it, and I will put you guys down. On top of that, we've got a Facebook Live show this Friday. We've got a bunch of talented comics on that. Hamilton Radio is actually hosting that. So it'll be, myself. It'll be Eli Velasquez, Amy Erickson, Uncle Todd McGuire, and Trisha Finley. Bunch of talented comics that I enjoy working with, and I'm super excited to bring on with me, especially since they're going to be performing from home, and I'm going to be in there with the rest of the Hamilton Radio crew on the set. And that'll be Friday. That'll be at 9 p.m. as well. So, as always, thank you guys for tuning in here on HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2's The Roundtable. With me, John Brecco, guest, Chief of Staff, John B. We will see you guys next week, same time, same channel. Until then, deuces, everybody.
John, that's 8 o'clock Friday.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, you could have cut me off earlier.
I was trying to.
Holy shit. I've been promoting it at 9 the whole time. All right, it's 8 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
Now I got to change all the fucking posts and shit.
You forgot? It was 8 o'clock.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8 o'clock Friday, guys.
8 o'clock
But
Friday.
yeah, no, we will see you guys on Friday, and for this show, we'll be back on Tuesday, same time, same channel. So I got the time of the show on Friday mixed up, so I apologize. But we'll see you then, and we'll see you Tuesday at the same time. So hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Deuces.